Hall of Fame broadcaster Marty Brenneman here, and he's the best storyteller in the game, and it's time to sit back, relax, and have some laughs. Welcome to the Mayor's Office, and here's your host, Sean Casey.
Bam, we're back at it, Chinch.
Yes,
we're
we
back
are.
at it. Man, this is going to be a good one this year, brother. This week, man. This is a good friend of ours and a guy we both love dearly. Let's introduce him first.
Yes.
12 years in the show, two-time All-Star, 3 Gold Gloves, 91 Roberto Clemente Award, which obviously, that no surprise to me with this guy. AL stolen base leader in 87. We need to talk about that because we got to get to the bottom of that. There's a good little story behind that one. I think the best analyst in sports, multi-Emmy award winning, and one of the best dudes, friends, that I've ever had and I ever know. Let's bring him in. Our man, H. Harold Reynolds. What's up, H?
Yo! What's up?
What's up, H?
How you doing, man? We Chinch and I were just saying, we get all the time on social media. When you having Harold on? Today's the day, baby. Today's the day.
Yep.
I love it. Well, it's funny. People always say, "Hey, I love this guy, my best friend," but I don't reciprocate that all the time. But I can do that with you guys. I love you too. You are two of my best friends.
That's true.
I can reciprocate that. Yes.
You're the best, dude. You're the best. Well, H, I want to, it's so funny for you, man, like working with you, having watched you for years on the air. You're always talking about everybody else. This will be fun to kind of dive into you a little bit. Take us back a little bit because I have a little bone to pick with you because you talk so much about the Oregon Ducks. You're like, yeah, Oregon, they're my team, Nike, all this stuff. And I'm like, man, there you go. It's unbelievable. And I'm like, man, Harold must have been the greatest Oregon Duck to ever go there. And I look at it, it's like, you don't even go there, dude. Like, please tell us what's going on here.
All right, so here's the background. All right, I grew up in Corvallis, Oregon, which is really the home of Oregon State Beavers.
Okay.
And so I was a big Beaver fan as a kid, obviously. You grew up going to all their games.
Right.
But when I was probably about, what grade, 6th grade or so, my oldest brother, Don, went to Oregon.
Oh.
And Don played football and baseball at Oregon. And so, hey, I'm the ball boy for every sport. Right. Dan Fouts is the quarterback.
Wow.
We're coming off Ahmad Rashad as a running back.
Right.
Got Big George Martin. Wow. And then on the baseball side, you got Dave Roberts, who was the number 1 pick, not the Dodgers Dave Roberts.
Right.
I'm talking about 6'4", my white brother from another mother, Dave Roberts. This dude was the number 1 pick in the country. I think it's 1974. And he goes from the University of Oregon campus to starting in the big leagues for the Padres the next day.
Wow.
All right. That was like, so those two are at the University of Oregon. But the back to Corvallis real quick. I could talk all day on this stuff, but
I love it.
In case I call myself the Black Forrest Gump. I mean, my stories intertwined with so many people that you go, that didn't happen. Like Forrest, right? No way that happened. Yeah. So we used to go to what we call Ma Beck's house. Gary Beck was one of Don's best friends, my oldest brother Don.
Right.
And they had a group of guys, Gary Beck, Mike Riley, who would be the NFL coach and coached college football and all that. Dave Roberts, who I talked about. David, a brother named Dean. They all started this community of guys going to the Beck's house to play wiffle ball.
Oh.
I'm keeping the stats for everybody in the backyard as a kid. Wow. And my reward was I'd get a few swings every now and then in between running to the grocery store to go pick up Pepsis. So the guy sitting with me keeping the stats, his name is Kurt Kemp. Okay. And Kurt ends up being a farm director for the Atlanta Braves with Freddie Freeman, Heyman, Jason Hayward, all those guys.
Wow.
I mean, out of this backyard, it was unbelievable.
That's crazy.
A guy named Ken Swigert was drafted by the Yankees in their group as well. So long story short, out of that backyard, my brother Larry, all these other people, Larry's extended friends and my extended friends, we probably had 25 Division I athletes.
Oh my God! Seriously?
Yeah. Probably, I think 4 major leaguers came out of that group.
That's crazy.
God.
NFL players. I mean, it was incredible.
And at the same time, wasn't like Mitch Williams was around you guys up there? Like there were a lot of other athletes just generally.
There was a lot of athletes in Oregon. Yeah.
Crazy.
Crazy time. just the guys that came out. My high school, I played against Danny Ainge, Ray Bloom, Mark Radford. This is a state basketball tournament. All these guys end up in the NBA.
Oh, man.
This is my little area in Oregon.
That's crazy.
I haven't even touched on Phil Knight.
Right.
Yeah.
Phil Knight started Nike. His waffle iron shoes that are so popular.
Yeah.
My brother Don happens to be the biggest running back at Oregon at the time. He wears Phil's waffle shoes. In the Civil War game, Oregon had lost to Oregon State for like 10 straight years. Don breaks the first carry, 61 yards for a touchdown. And he's wearing Phil's waffle shoes.
Oh, that's the connection.
God.
I always wondered how you and Phil knew each other so well.
So no one had worn Nike at that point. Don's like one of the whole team's not wearing it. Just Don was wearing them.
Yeah, well, they had like their sample shoe was a size 9.
Right.
So Don was a size 9. I don't know who else wore them.
Yeah.
But all I know is all the boys in our house all of a sudden wore a size 9. I was probably a 5, but I wore a 9.
That's amazing. Holy
So
cow.
all that stuff. So let me finish this and then we'll get back to more. But the 1968 Olympics, this is one of my favorite Forrest Gump stories for me. So the 68 Olympics is in Mexico City. And a guy named Dick Fosbury sets a world record in high jump. He high jumps like 7 feet or something like that, doing the flop, flying backwards. Nobody had ever done it. They did this, what they call Western roll.
Right.
So, like I said, we grew up on the campus at Oregon State University in Corvallis, not Oregon. Don changed all our fortunes when he went to Eugene, but we're in Corvallis. And so after school, I'm like 8 years old. I'm hanging out on the campus and high jumping and running on the track. And there's this dude high jumping all the time. Hey, kid, can you help put my bar back up? I put the bar up for him every day. He's practicing at like 4 or 5 o'clock because his coach wouldn't let him do the flop in
my
practice.
God. So this is
So it
actually
ends up being-
Fosbury?
I'm watching the 68 Olympics and I go, Mom, that's my friend. That's Dick.
Oh my gosh.
It's Dick Fosbury.
Holy crap, Harold. I never even heard that story. That's
I get
unbelievable.
inducted into the Oregon Sports Hall of Fame. And everybody thinks I've made this story up my whole life. And Dick is one of the inductees, and they bring him back, and he's like, I knew this kid when he was a little guy, and he starts telling the story.
Holy crap. That's crazy. That is crazy.
It's so great. I'm sure we would probably need a 10-hour show to go down the Forrest Gump rabbit hole of Harold Reynolds' life.
Yeah.
I mean, I go Bill Walton, Pistol Pete, you name it. Lou Alcindor put me on his shoulders when he was a kid, let me dunk. I mean,
Gosh.
I go all day.
Tell me a Pistol Pete story. He's a Pittsburgh guy.
Yeah.
He's a Pittsburgh guy, and ended up going out west. But what do you got on Pistol Pete? Yeah.
So, back in the day when I was a kid, they had newspapers, right?
Yeah.
And the newspaper, the only way they described Pete Maravich was he was a white globetrotter. Okay. That's how they described it. So we're all hyped to go see Pete Maravich play. So Pistol comes to Corvallis. Now, years later, my agent, Jim Krevax, runs a basketball camp with Pete for 10 years in my adult years when I'm playing the big leagues.
Wow.
But as a kid, I'm again that Dick Fosbury 8, 9-year-old range, and Pistol comes to Corvallis. He scores 46 points that night. He misses his first free throw and hits 30 in a row.
Wow.
All right. He would walk down the court, dribbling the ball between his legs. So here's my story. That morning, there's a shoot around. I don't know it. I always pick the lock, run into Gil, hang out.
Yeah.
And the ball's bouncing and it's early. And I'm like, who is this? And it was Pete and his dad shooting around.
Oh, wow.
The Pistol.
And his dad is just
you
as legendary as he is, right? His dad taught him everything he knows. He's always with him. That's crazy.
So you can go LeBron, Magic, Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. Imagine seeing them in a gymnasium shooting by themselves with a dad.
Crazy.
I got a chance to see that with
Crazy.
Pete.
That is so great, man. Gosh, that's so great. Well, you obviously, you talked about Don, you talk about Larry. Larry, your brother Larry is in the Hall of Fame at Stanford for football and baseball.
Yeah, his freshman year,
Yeah.
he was the Pac-8 at the time, it's Pac-12 now. He was the Pac-8 Player of the Year as a freshman in baseball.
Wow.
And he started at corner for 4 years in football.
Wow.
So he played for Bill Walsh and he played for Mark Marquis. And Yeah, he was kind of the start of this great run that Stanford's on.
Wow,
we were all like, Stanford, they're no good. Why are you going to Stanford? We had no idea about the education part of it.
Right. So what was it like, H, in your house? What was it like growing up with your brothers? And I know your mom was also a big influence on you. What was it like in the Reynolds house growing up?
Well, single parent home. My mom and dad got divorced when I was like 3. So there's 8 kids. I'm the youngest of 8.
Oh, my God.
3 girls, then 5 boys. And I just remember our house being a mess, always. It was always a mess, unless my sisters had a date. And Sharon, my middle oldest, would go, "You got 2 minutes to pick your junk up, or we'll be in the backyard." And she'd be tucking shoes and you name it out in the backyard, like she had somebody coming over.
That's great.
But our house was the house everybody came to hang out at, because we lived right on campus and we were right across the street from the Coliseum, right down the street from the baseball field, so we were constantly on the campus doing sports things. And so all the kids would come to our house all the time.
Wow.
And H, when you look back at your time growing up, and obviously your brothers were a big influence on your sisters, you played football, basketball, baseball, you were on a championship team for football in high school, and we always talk about here, on the show, just about, what your opinion is as far as like kids nowadays specializing for one sport, going 12 months a year, having the instructors and working on different things for one sport. What's your opinion on that?
Got to play as many as you can.
Yeah.
It just makes you more well-rounded as an athlete. Think about coming down the court with a basketball and you got guys running by you and you're dribbling, you're reading the defense.
Right.
All these little instincts. Catching a pass is like catching a pop fly over my shoulder going in the outfield. Right. There's so many different skills you learn from playing at different sports. Also, it just makes you competitive.
Right.
Yeah.
There's different personalities in different sports.
Yeah.
And I had a high school football coach in Chuck Solberg. Back in the day, it was okay. They couldn't do it now.
Right.
But he'd grab your face mask.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I told you to run this play,
Yeah. You also grow and learn just as much from a crappy coach as you do from a good one, because you get to identify the different ways people teach kids things, right?
No doubt about it. I mean, look, and also it makes you tough. I mean, we don't use that very often today. But if you're going to make it in professional sports or professionally in life, you're going to have some toughness about you.
Yeah.
You're going to lose some things and you got to get over it quick. And that's why I love baseball, because you can go 5 for 5 and Chinch has done it. You've done it. It doesn't matter what level you do it at. You're sky high, man. Let's go get some ice cream. and the next day you go 0 for 5. You feel like the worst player in the world. And you got to have perspective. Hold on, I'm 5 for my last 10. I'm pretty good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think baseball gives you that even perspective. But the toughness on the coaches, real quick, and I'll let you go.
Go ahead.
I mean, I had a high school basketball coach in Mike Doherty who made us run line drills till we threw up. So it made me realize, man, I got a little more in the tank than I thought. I had Chuck Solberg grabbing my face mask, telling me I didn't run a play right, and showing me how to break down film and look at things, which applies to my later life now. Mm-hmm. But by the time I got to the big leagues and I had Dick Williams, Dick Williams was a cupcake. I've dealt with this.
That's a great point.
Dude, I like that, because I think sometimes we're just being so easy on kids at times. It's okay, everyone gets a trophy, it's all good, but like that's not the real world. Like I like the line gritty beats pretty every time. Like you have to have some grit, and I think with baseball, H, it's funny. I always think there's three qualities of reality of baseball you're going to have: endless failure, endless work, and uncertainty. All 3 of those are going to be there. You might as well embrace it and make them your friend and attack that, because at the end of the day, it's such a game of failure. And I tell you, you learn so much. And I love that you had coaches like that, because me too. My dad used to say, and I remember calling my dad one day, I don't want to play for this guy. I go, what? He was like, you're going to stay there? You're going to play for him? He's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to quit when you go like a boss in the road one day and let your family hang out to dry? I'm like, God, Dad, take it easy. I just said I didn't really like I didn't really like him that much, you know what I mean? So, but I love that. I want to get to Dick Williams too in a second, but I want to kind of go, with you getting drafted. You got drafted right by the San Diego Padres in the 6th round at a high school, and you end up not signing. why did you end up not signing? What was with that decision?
You ain't give me no money. Show
me the money.
Show me the money. No, I thought, hey, I'm ready to sign, no doubt, out of high school. I had two older brothers by then. They're in pro ball. And almost Larry hadn't signed yet. But, so I was thinking I was going to sign. It just didn't work out the way I wanted to. Yeah. So I ended up going to San Diego State. I'd been recruited by everybody except for the one school I wanted to go to. I wanted to play for Rod Dato at USC.
Oh, okay.
My whole life. And he never called until I saw him when I'm doing the College World Series. Hey, Tiger. That's what he said to tell you. You're a heck of a major leaguer, Tiger. Just came play for the coach. You never called me.
Never called.
Wow.
I wanted to play for Dato.
Oh my God, dude, it's so great. So a couple years later, you get drafted. You're obviously in the first round now with the Mariners, and your journey starts. For you, H, when you look back at the minor leagues, like what are some of the things you really remember that helped you prepare to become a big leaguer?
People and work.
Yeah.
That was really it. Who you hang out with sharpens you. We hear that all the time, but it's true. I want to take it back to San Diego State real quick. I go on my recruiting trip to go to San Diego State.
Is Gwynn there? Yeah.
Tony Gwynn's playing basketball at the time.
Oh, my God, yes.
So Vic Martin and Bobby Meacham. You know the name Bobby Meacham?
Oh, yeah. No,
Meach. The airport. Where are we going? This is a recruiting trip. It's going to be great. We're going to watch Tony play basketball. Tony who? Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn. He's got this huge afro, and he is balling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, this dude can play. And I was into college basketball because I was a kid growing up. That's what I did. I watched college hoops. And they're like, Harold, he's the best hitter in the country. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, this dude can hit a baseball. And I'm watching him hooping. Well, he ended up getting drafted in basketball.
Right.
So I was like, there's no way he's playing baseball at San Diego State. So I meet Tony, nicest guy in the world. And I'm thinking, Tony Gwynn, Bobby Meacham, Vic Martin, I'm going to San Diego State. And it just, I didn't like my coach. It didn't work out real well. So I ended up transferring to a junior college, went to a JC, Kenyatta College in Redwood City. Shout out to the Colts.
Go Colts. Go Colts.
Then I got drafted. And that brings us to our minor league stuff that you were asking me about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so you played with Gwynn then at San Diego State?
Yeah, just briefly in the fall that year.
Anything, even being with him briefly in college, anything stand out as far as especially as the hitter he became?
Yeah, the work ethic. He was always hitting extra, but he had a plan. If you end up being a Major League Baseball player, or in a minor league player, or a good college player, what takes you to that next level is having a plan with what you want to do as a hitter. When I go to the plate, here's what I'm trying to do. Here's who I am, knowing what you are. Tony knew who he was in college, which is so rare. And he would be shooting that ball the other way. He'd sit back, wait, boom. If he needed to, he could pull it and hit a ball. But he worked on it every day. And I kid you not, I get into the minor leagues. Now I'm playing, it's double-A ball. And here comes Tony Gwynn, instructional league. And I'm playing against Tony Gwynn, and he's hitting dribblers. And they're finding holes, and it's bouncing through the infield. And Darnell Coles and I are playing up the middle, and we're yelling at each other like, he's the luckiest hitter I've ever seen. He gets 3 or 4 hits every time we played the Padres in instructional league. And I'm like, amazing. I know he works on this stuff, but come on, man, this is unbelievable.
Well, yeah, you always say the good hitters get those hits. The good hitters get the ball just through the bloop to left, then the rocket, you know what I mean? But then you look up and Tony Gwynn's hitting 370. You're like, man, how's he doing it? Because he gets those dribblers. He gets those bloopers, you know?
One of my favorite stories in the minor leagues, the Mariners and the Mets had a co-op team in the winter. So I sign at the end of the summer, and so I go to instructional league. And after instructional league, they're like, hey, we got a co-op team in California. Why don't you go play? I go, I want to go back to school. They're like, all right, well, take some classes at one of the community colleges. So I go to Orange Coast College in Costa Mesa and take some classes. But on the weekends, we play with the Mets. Well, Darryl Strawberry's the number 1 pick.
Wow,
So I'm playing with Straw.
Wow.
Darnell Coles is on my team. It's me, Darnell, and Straw, the main 3 attractions that I remember to this day, okay? Darryl Strawberry, I kid you not, swings and misses the whole winter. He doesn't put a ball in play in any of the games.
Wow.
And we would go after the Saturday games, we'd go play pool, the 3 of us would go play pool and eat spaghetti and hang out and talk.
Wow.
And Darnell and I would be like, Straw, man, call Denny Crum, take that basketball deal, Louisville's still an option. This baseball's not going to work out. So as you guys know, you get in the minor league ball, you're not following everybody. And back then, you know, you only had Baseball America. That was like once a week a publication would come out and tell you what guys are doing. One Saturday, we're in Double-A and sitting in the hotel. Saturday morning, game of the week comes on, and making his debut today, the Straw, Darryl Strawberry.
My God.
And Darnell and I pop up in our beds and look at each other and go, what?
That's amazing.
20-year-old Darryl Strawberry. I mean, he figured it out quick, man. When it came, it came.
Yeah. There's one thing, sorry, that stuck with me that you told me years ago that I don't think many people know about, and I believe it involved you and Darnell. Can you talk about, like, the racism that even as right then that you guys faced in the minor leagues? It's shocking, and it's disgusting that it's so late in the world. I mean, we talk about it a lot now in a positive way and how we're progressing with it, but you guys were scared a lot in the minor leagues, right?
Well, 1981, well, I'll go even the summer before. 1980, before I signed that summer, the summer before, case I play in Fairbanks, which would be like Cape Cod nowadays.
Right.
And we go to Sturgis, South Dakota, where the big motorcycle rally is now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
First year they ever had it, by the way. A lot of motorcyclers coming through. But we stop as a team. We're playing there on our way to the NBC tournament in Wichita, Kansas. Go to order food. It's Alvin Davis, myself, a guy named Leon Baham, and I think that's it. We're the only minorities on the team. Unless I'm skipping somebody, sorry, man. Shortstop, Alex Escaria. All right, he was from Pepperdine. Cool. So the 4 of us are the minorities on our team. And I'm sitting at the table with a bunch of guys. You know, you're hanging out with your boys. And everybody's ordered their breakfast. And I'm still sitting there. I don't get my food delivered. Oh. And it takes a little while for me to go, hey, miss, I didn't get a plate. I look over, Alvin's at another table. He's sitting there going, hey, miss.
Oh, my God.
We didn't get any food. And it was like, you got to be kidding me. That night, I get a call from one of the guys in the room, and it's like, hey, Harold, the Klan's outside.
Come on.
And I'm like, what? Come on, man. I look out the window. There's 2 guys sitting in a car with the white hoods on. I'd never seen the Klan in my life.
Unbelievable.
And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So we get to, we're like, hey, Ben Himes, our manager, I'm calling Ben, we got to leave.
Oh, my God. Jeez.
Oh, my God. Did they call the cops or anything?
No, we just made it through the night, and that was that. And you'll be okay, you know.
You'll be okay.
Oh,
just sleep. Just go to bed. Those guys will leave. Those guys will leave soon.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I remember that. I'm like 18, almost 19. I'd had different things along the way, but nothing to that extent.
Yeah.
So then I get to the minor leagues, and we're playing in Wausau, Wisconsin. And Darnell and I, it's kind of funny. Darnell and I are rooming with Donnell Nixon, Otis Nixon's brother.
Oh, cool.
They're from North Carolina. And Otis, I remember we went out one night at a club, and he's like, there's white people here. And we're like, yeah, where you been? Like, we don't even go around the white people in North Carolina. This is 1980, 81.
That's what stuck with me. It's so crazy that it's so crazy.
And I couldn't believe it. So we go grocery shopping like the next day, and this little girl's in the aisle, and she's like, Mom, they're black. Oh, Lord, where are we? But, you know, people were great. I love Wausau still to this day. It was just a shocker for people to see black athletes. And
unbelievable.
It's hard to believe that our country was so segregated. And just depending on where you went, you just didn't see certain types of people.
Yeah.
And, you know, I when I'm doing speeches, I joke a lot when I tell people I'm from Oregon. And I go, yeah, there are black people there. They're like, Oregon? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So, but I look at the racist part, the racism, and the things that I learned and grew up with, and being the only black guy in a lot of teams I played on. I look back and I go, I'm glad I went through it. Yeah. It allowed me to get along with so many different people. And you get to know, do they like me for who I am, or do they like me for what I am? And I'll finish this portion with this story. I'm in American Legion, and we are in Sheridan, Wyoming. I'm like 15, 16 years old, and we're in the regional trying to go to the World Series. We're playing in Sheridan, Wyoming. I'm the only black kid in the whole region in the tournament. 8-team tournament to see who's going to advance. Sheridan, Wyoming. Okay. Yeah. Hey, this is this is 1987. This is like 75, 74.
Oh, boy.
No black people nowhere. So Lou Tanselli, our starting right-hand pitcher, says, Harold, let's go have some breakfast. We used to get like $10 meal money, whatever, from the American Legion. So I'm like, yeah, cool. And he goes, I'm buying. I said, oh, man, perfect. We go to breakfast. We sit down. We eat. I get served, by the way. We sit down. We eat. And we're leaving. And I go, Lou, when did you pay? And we're walking down this dusty road. And he goes, I mean, you can hear I mean, it's one of those type of dusty roads. Right. And we're walking down the road. And Lou goes, I dine and dash all the time. Like, what are you talking about? He goes, man, they give us $10. I put that in my pocket.
Oh, my God.
I just walk out. And I'm like, Lou, I'm the only black person in the whole state. And I laugh about that now because Lou just saw me as Harold.
Oh, right.
He didn't see me as black. I was just his friend and his teammate, and we just walked out and got free $10 each. And I'm looking at it like, they getting ready to lock me up for $10.
That's crazy.
This is not good. Start running.
But through it all, you learn who people are. And that's the whole key. And that's why I can get along with so many different races of people. I love it.
H, we had Curtis Granderson on a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about the Players Alliance, because talking about, a lot of black youth, a lot of kids aren't playing baseball, or at least it shows, it's reflective in the big leagues. The percentages aren't there for the black athlete. What is it going to take to get more black athletes playing and get to the big league level? And what do you think that is so good about the Players Alliance trying to make that happen?
Well, I think it's good because they're helping provide opportunity. We're planning a time right now where youth travel baseball is expensive. A lot of kids can't afford it. And particularly in the black communities, that hits you really hard. But my concern and my worry, we saw a little spike a few years ago. My concern now is how we're evaluating players. Where the game is at in the big leagues is reflecting all the way down. We're worried about how hard do you throw, how hard do you hit, and you have a radar gun to register everything. There's a lot of kids, black or white, that don't have a radar gun to register a 90-mile-an-hour exit velocity, or if they're throwing 90 miles an hour from across the diamond. So now you're left in the woods of being evaluated.
Right.
You don't have scouts running around all over the country going, hey, I saw this Casey kid, I'm going to follow him. He's got a nice swing. He's going to grow into it. They don't look at that and project that anymore. They look at Sean Casey and go, you know what? He didn't hit the ball 90-mile-an-hour exit velocity. Probably not a prospect. And that's the end of Sean Casey, and that's the end of Harold.
Right.
And so we've got to fix this system because that's not right. I understand using it as a tool to evaluate your big leaguers and your minor league system and all that. Even I don't agree fully with that. But when we start going to the amateur ranks to do that, we miss out.
Right.
There's no Darryl Strawberry today. There's no Ken Griffey Jr. today. Well, maybe him because he was driving Mercedes.
He was ridiculous,
but I'm just saying we miss out on a lot of athletes that grow into their body. Were you a late bloomer, Case?
Yo, big time. You kidding me? If I came out of high school, I would have been out of the game in 2 years. I had to go to college. I didn't start blossoming until my junior year in college. I was 21 years old.
Yeah, and so that kid now is done. And colleges are doing the same thing now.
Right.
And they're selecting these kids and saying, you can't play. It's sad what's going on.
Yeah. Well, let's fast forward, H, and start looking at, when you got to the big leagues. You get to the big leagues with Seattle. Can you take us back to when did you get called up? No. Chinch, we have a story, first off, about Dave Valley. The last day you guys were going to get called up. It doesn't work out. And then you saw that Dave Valley is really from Queens, New York. And you're like, wow, this guy's unbelievable. Yeah. Can you take us back to that story? You thought you guys were going to get called up, and then it went the last day of the year, and it went crazy.
Well, I'm trying to, you guys are mixing like so many stories.
Oh, sorry.
I know.
No, I'm trying to figure out which one you're talking about.
Attacking a dugout. I'll put it that way.
When we had a brawl?
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't you say Valley dove into the dugout and attacked the entire team? You guys were
we were in Bristol, Connecticut.
Oh, right.
And the headquarters of ESPN was Muggsy Field. It was AA ball for the Boston Red Sox.
Right.
And the most unique stadium ever. This is the beauty of minor league ball. You come across a lot of unique things. Well, this one had the same dugouts on the same side. We were both on the first base side of the dugout.
Oh, my gosh.
And there was a little gulf between the two. Well, Val had got hit by this guy by a pitch. And Val could, he could lose it a little bit on some folks. And this guy kept chirping at him. And finally, Val was sitting there changing his gear. And he jumped into the whole dugout and took the whole team off.
That's so crazy.
It's beautiful.
It's so funny knowing him now. He doesn't like telling those stories anymore because he's such like a sweet man now, and he's like, that was a different
Dave
time
has
in my
been
life.
one of my closest friends forever. Case, we used to hitchhike to the movie theaters. Me and Dave Valley. In the minor leagues, you're not making any money. We're hitchhiking, to get places. But no, I mean, coming through the minor league system with the Mariners, I had so many good friends, some of my best friends to this day, but most of us made it to the big leagues, which is so rare.
That's very rare.
We were stacked with talent. And I mean, here's an instruction league team I had one year. Starting rotation, Mark Langston, Mike Moore, Ed Vandenberg. Who else did we have? Edwin Nunez. I'd go on. I can't think of all the guys right now because I don't remember everybody, but I can see them. That was our pitching rotation.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
We had Alvin Davis at first base. Me and Danny Tartable played second, and Bull played second. We had Spike Owen and Darnell Coles at short.
Oh, my gosh.
Donnell Nixon and Jim Presley at third. In the outfield, we had Phil Bradley. Dave Henderson came and played with us a little bit. He'd already been up and down. He came and got some work. Hindu's playing in center. A guy named Ricky Nelson, Al Chambers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Yvonne Calderon. Wow. That was our outfielders.
Oh, my gosh, bro.
I mean,
that's unbelievable.
We mashed folks in that instructional league. I think we were 20-2 or something like that. It was incredible.
A lot of all-stars that you just mentioned that went on, guys have played elsewhere too and became all-stars. One of the guys you talked about there is Alvin Davis. I just feel like, man, this guy was a good player. I think sometimes we don't talk about maybe what Alvin, did and what he meant to the game. Can you talk about him a little bit and what he meant to your career?
Well, there's probably, 3 or 4 people in your life you come across and you go, that's the nicest person I ever met in my life. Right. That's Alvin Davis. He's one of the top 3 or 4 people I've ever met my entire life. Wow. That is the nicest, genuine person I've ever met. So that's first and foremost. I played with Alvin up in Alaska in 1980, that summer. He was a guy that could not pull the ball. He hit everything to left center field. Ben Hines, who was like instructor with the Dodgers and had been at Laverne College, he was a great college coach. He would have Alvin pulling pitches every day. He taught me to start switch hitting up there in Fairbanks. And he would throw balls right at Alvin's front hip and on flip drills, and he'd be hitting it like into the stands and behind him and right, and Ben would go, good swing. That ain't even close to being fair. And he was but he made Alvin get the bat head out. And so then by the time we're playing together in the minor leagues, we get Alvin, he signs in AA, comes straight to AA ball. we're playing in War Memorial, the old stadium in Buffalo, where they filmed The Natural. They just filmed it that summer. And we played in that ballpark. Alvin comes, boom, boom, homers. It's only like 200 feet to right. He's hitting all these home runs. He's pulling the ball. And then the next couple of years, he's just straight to the big leagues, and he's Rookie of the Year in 1984. Yeah. But he would not swing at a pitch. It'd be this far off the plate. And I swear umpires would go, if Alvin didn't swing, I swear. He knew his strike zone better than anybody I've ever known. Wow. Even the umpire sitting still like this. If Alvin turned around and went, I don't know, the umpire would go, oh my God, I missed it. I mean, he was that good at knowing his zone.
Oh my God, it's so great, dude. It's so great. So you come up to the big leagues with all those guys, with Alvin Davis and a lot of great players. You establish yourself, H, those first couple of years, and you become an all-star in 87, right? 87 is your first all-star game, 88. Can you take us back to those games? Like, what do you remember about your first all-star game, or give us a good all-star game story that you remember?
Well, there's several. There's a lot to get to that point. But my first all-star game selection, I wasn't picked by the fans, and I wasn't picked by I was an alternate. So it was Lou Whitaker and Willie Randolph were the two second basemen picked. And the alternate second baseman was Paul Molitor. Good luck, Harold. So word starts coming down that weekend before the All-Star game that Whitaker has a bad hamstring. He's not going to go to the game. And Willie Randolph has a hamstring, but he's going to the game. Huh. So we're playing the Red Sox and John McNamara. We'll get into Dick Williams, but as hard as Dick Williams was on me, the man loved me. And I'm telling you, I'm not an all-star in 87 if it isn't for Dick Williams. Wow. And I'll tell you what happened. So we're playing a game. In the last weekend, we're playing the Red Sox. It was Saturday. And I get called into Dick's office. I'm like, oh, God, what do I do now? And I go in, and he says, you want to go to Oakland? I am so far off the radar thinking I'm going to the All-Star game. That's where the first All-Star game I went to was in Oakland. And I'm thinking, stand there in front of him, registering through my mind is like, he wants me to go spend 3 days, off days with him? Watching the game?
Like to hang out with him?
And I'm thinking, what do I say? I'm not going with him. That's the last person I'm spending my 3 days with. That's what I'm thinking in my head. And I go, yes, sir. Yeah, I'll go. And he's like, huh? And he goes, Johnny Mac has something to say to you, and walks around the corner. John McNamara, who's the Red Sox manager who got to pick the American League All-Star. He was the manager in the All-Star team. Right. He goes, congratulations, young man. You had a great first half. You're deserving to be in the All-Star game. You're going to Oakland.
Wow.
And I was like, wow. And looking back now, that doesn't happen if Dick didn't campaign for him.
That's great. Wow.
There was a lot of other guys having really good years. Wow. I got to go. Wow. So I'm in that game. And I just remember it was a 12-inning game or something like that. Tim Raines got a hit. So here's my moment, Case. We're in the introduce, the lines out there. I'm looking around. And I'm like, there's Dave Winfield. There's Ricky Henderson. There's Don Mattingly. There's Cal Ripken. I'm like, holy smokes. Pete Rose is across the way. Mike Schmidt. I mean, this is like stars of stars. And so we get back in the dugout, and it's just before like first pitch, and you get ready to run out and do your last lap and play catch and all that. And Willie Randolph goes, hey kid, my hammy hurts a little bit today. I'm gonna take my first AB, then the game is yours. Wow. And I'm like, what? So I played 9 innings of that game.
Wow.
What?
It was awesome. And all I could think about, I enjoyed the game, but man, all I could think about is don't make an error to lose this. Don't kick one in this game.
Did you get any balls? Did you get any balls hit to you?
I had a ton of plays. Wow. I had like 5 or 6 plays in that game.
That's so cool.
I had to bunt. I bunted twice. They gave me the bunt sign. I popped one out. I was mad because I'm like, bunt?
In the All-Star game?
Yeah.
What the heck?
And I fouled one off so I could get the swing. I'm like, I ain't putting this in play. I'm taking my hat.
Yeah. Man, that tells you how they looked at the All-Star game back then. Like the AL and the NL hate each other so much they got you bunting in an All-Star game. That's crazy.
It was serious stuff. It was serious.
H, what was it about? What else about Dick Williams? Like, what was it about him that, like you said, made you such a better player? And how were you able to take him, like I said, being a tough coach, but sounds like he was pretty fair.
He loved me. He loved his second basemen. He was a great teacher. And once I figured out he's just teaching me lessons and not just hammering me, there was some funny stories I'll tell you in this vein. But that was the essence of what he was doing. He was teaching me the game. His fundamental principle was I should never have to give you a sign. The situation will dictate what happens. So if there was 2 outs, runner on second base, he'd be waving, telling me, back up, don't let him hit it past you, dive for the ball. He only had to tell me a couple times. After that, I got it.
Right.
You know, and things like that. Or I'd be walking up to the plate with 2 outs, he'd go, hit a gapper. You know? Or if I was on, I got walked, he's like, you better be running first pitch. So you can get in scoring position. Those are the things that he would always teach. Right. So a couple funny stories real quick. I get called up. I'm playing for Dick. And the winter before, I played winter ball in Puerto Rico, and John Cangelosi was my roommate. He was one of the guys come hang out, him and Wally Joyner. And so you see a guy you play winter ball with, and he's in the big leagues, and we're all excited to be in the big leagues. Playing the White Sox. He's with the White Sox. Fly ball in the right field corner. I run after it. It's muddy, sliding. I slide. Dave Henderson comes in. Alvin goes out, safe. I grab the ball, throw it to second base, pop-up slide, and Spike, he pops up, he hits Spike on in the chin. Well, Cangelosi and Spike are spark plugs, man. They start just duking it out. And I mean, going at it. Umpire splits them up, doesn't kick them out of the game, but they were brawling. All right? So I'm at second base, playing second. Cangelosi's on second because it was a double.
Right.
Spike's a short. In between pitches, I'm walking over to Kanji going, Spike would have whipped your tail. I go back to my spot. You're lucky they broke it up. I'll go back to my spot in between pitches. The inning ends. This is the first time Dick jumped me. The inning ends. I'm jogging in. I'm in the big leagues. I'm happy, you know. Dick meets me at the top step, and he goes, if I ever see you talking to a player on the other team, I will yank you out of the game so fast you won't know what happens. And if you weren't talking to everybody on the field, you would have had that ball in the right field corner.
Oh, my God.
That's it. So I'm not saying another word. We go to Kansas City. George Brett doubles. He's at second. Hey, kid. I got my head down. I've been called up a couple times, so I know guys, but I don't know them. I got my head down, and I'm not saying nothing. And George's like, got a little dirt in your spikes now. He's come back, and he's bragging me. So they have cut out dirt. It's AstroTurf. So I have to walk over and act like I'm picking up a piece of dirt, and I go, hey, Skipper's all over me right now, man. And I go back to my position. Inning ends. I come in. Marty Martinez, who's like my baseball dad. I came through the minor leagues. He was my minor league infield instructor, everything. He's in the big leagues now. And he comes down and he goes, I don't know what you do, but the skipper say he saw that. I don't know what that means, but he say, tell you he saw that.
Oh, my gosh.
And I go, oh, God. So now we go to Seattle.
This is great.
Reggie Jackson's up. Boom. He hits a double off the wall.
Oh, no.
Now, the last time we played against Reggie, it was the first time I've been in the big leagues like a year earlier. My mom's favorite player. Reggie is so kind to my mom. He stays after the game, comes to the family room, takes pictures with her, hangs out, gives her a big kiss on the cheek, all that. I haven't seen Reggie in a year. I've been in the minor leagues. Ball off the wall.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
He doubles. He gets to second. He goes, hey, how's your mom doing?
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Over. Oh, my God. I don't say nothing. I got my head down. Pitch goes by. Now Reggie not only is saying something, He turns and demonstrably is looking at me at second and goes, "Oh, you big time?
Oh,
I asked you, how's your mom?"
oh my God.
And I go, hey, Skipper's all over me. I can't be talking to you out here. Well, Reggie won 3 championships with Dick in Oakland.
Oh, okay.
You know what he does? He stands on second base. Leave the kid alone, Dick.
Oh my God. That is unbelievable.
I'm dead. This is Reggie. The inning ends, and I'm jogging in, and all I see is Reggie chirping towards Dick at the dugout. I don't know what he's saying.
Right.
Oh my God.
I get in, and I just go straight into the clubhouse. I didn't even stay out on the bench. I went straight in because I didn't want to see what Dick had to say to me.
That is an all-timer.
What a story, bro. What a story. That is so great, man. And it's so true. The fraternizing for guys like Dick Williams, like, no, we don't. That was not put up with back in the day, especially when they were coming up. You know what I mean?
Not at all, man. They didn't put up with it. They're gonna throw one in your ear. You name it. That's how they played.
That's when you say to Dick, "Hey, put me in center field, please, so I can't talk to anybody." You know what I mean? Put me
I'm
in
seriously just ready. Like, just pack my bags. I'm done.
That's so great, man.
But I tell you, he liked me so much, and he would talk situations, and he would explain why he would do certain things and why certain things happen and all that. The last thing of my favorite all-time Dick Williams story, just it makes him seem like a mean guy. He was great to me, and he was mean to other people. But he hated pitchers, okay? Hated pitchers. Okay. We're playing a game in Detroit, and Tiger Stadium, we had this kid get called up, and this is the Tigers, that championship Tigers with Gibson, Trammell, Whitaker, all that. And they're hitting in order. And we're getting bombed. The Tiger Stadium's going back and forth, like Chicago, and they're just going nuts in the stands. We bring in this left-hander who had flown a red eye to get to Detroit to play that day. He hadn't been in the big leagues with us. At this time of the year, I kid you not, it'd been 2 months since Dick came out for a first visit. He would just come out for the second visit, and he would go, "Give me the ball," basically. And I would be the only guy on the mound that would be like, "Hey, hang in there." And Dave Valley, the catcher, Alvin, those guys it'd be me and Dick standing there while the other pitcher's jogging in because they didn't want to talk to him. All right? I'm standing there with the manager. Think about that. The pitcher comes in, the catcher's not even asking what the signs are. It's just me and Dick standing there.
Oh, man.
By the time the pitcher gets there, then Dave would come out and give the signs and Dick would leave. All right? So this kid comes in the game. He walks Whitaker on 4 pitches. Now he's got Trammell, then he's got Gibson. He walks in a run. Bases were loaded. Here comes Dick, first visit. I'm jogging in like I'm supposed to do because I'm the mediator. I look in the bullpen, nobody's warming up. I'm like, this hasn't happened for a month. Here comes Val, here comes Alvin, and they go back, and it's me, Dick, and the pitcher stand there. And Dick goes, "Are your arms tired?" And the kid goes, "No, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good." He goes, "I didn't say your arm. I said your arms, plural." He goes, "If you don't throw a strike to this guy, and like you're the pitcher, and I'm Dick," and he starts tapping him on his chest, "you'll be flapping him all the way back to Calgary."
Oh man, it's so great.
And I'm like, just throw a strike, man. Trammell hits a 3-run triple, cleans that up.
God.
That was it.
Get the bullpen up. Get this guy out of here. Oh my God. So
I love
great.
Dick Williams. I love playing for him. He made me an all-star player. If I don't have Dick, I don't think I'd become an all-star player.
That's so great, man. That's so great. That same year, age 87, you win the stolen base title. 60 bags, best, number 1 guy in the AL. Can you tell us that story? Because, usually at that time, a guy named Ricky Henderson was usually winning all those stolen base titles. And when you go down and look at it, Harold Reynolds won in 87. What happened there?
Well, Ricky had been stealing, like 100-some bases. So he got hurt that year. He had 80, I think he had 35 in May. 2 months in, he's got 30, 35 back. He's on his way to another 100, 120.
Yeah.
And it came down to the last day of the season, and it's me and Willie Wilson at 59. I steal a base. We're in the same time zone because we're playing in Texas and he's at home in Kansas City.
Right.
So the ticker tape, there wasn't no text messages or email or phone, whatever. Willie goes 0 for 5. I get on, I steal a bag, and I win stolen base. 60th stolen base. It's the first offensive accomplishment for the Mariners in history to win an American League, offensive statistic. So it was a big deal. So we get on a plane, we fly back, season's over. My phone rings the next day, and it's Ricky Henderson. And Ricky never talks like, how you doing? He talks in the third person.
I know, it's true.
So I answer the phone. Hello? He says, Henderson here. I said, hey, what up, Rick? He goes, 60 stolen bases? You ought to be ashamed. Ricky has 60 at the break. Click.
Such a good.
And so I have a picture signed by Ricky that says, "You're no stolen base champ." Ricky.
Oh my gosh, dude. That is so great. Oh, that is so great. So great. Well, dude, you've gotten to obviously play against some of the best players and one of the, maybe the greatest player of all time in Ken Griffey Jr. You got to really see him when he was raw. 18, 19 years old when he got called up. You and him are great friends, kind of a mentor to him. Can you talk about what that was like when Junior first came up? And Ken Griffey Sr., I believe, was on the team at some point there. And, talk about that, what it was like seeing him when that young and the talent that he had.
Well, a lot of us grew up watching the Big Red Machine, so we knew who Ken Griffey Sr. was.
Right.
And he was a guy hit a ball in the gap, wouldn't hit a lot of home runs, but he could fly, right? And so we're like, yeah, we're going to draft his kid. Like, that's cool. So he shows up. Junior's like 6'4".
Right.
He's a legit 6'4". He's skinny as a rail. He's about 180 pounds at the time. And he's got this afro. And he's 17. So we're expecting stocky Ken Sr. slapping the ball the other way.
Right.
Well, Junior's got the same swing, but he got some power, man. So he hops in the cage. He's 17 years old. And you guys know the number one pick always comes and he works out with the big club and everybody sees him and then he does his media stuff, all that. Well, Junior starts rocketing balls into the seats in the kingdom. Now, this is not 2000 baseball where everybody's told hit home runs.
Right.
That was a rarity in the game. We played gappers, hit the ball over the place, do all those things. And so he's hitting rockets in the seats in the kingdom. And I remember talking to Alvin like, man, he might be the best player on our team right now. He's 17. And I tell people all the time, I get asked that. I got asked that earlier in the week about Griffey. I said, he wasted 3 years of big league time by going to high school, if you ask me. By the time he shows up in the big leagues at 18, about 19, he's the best player not only in our team, he's one of the best in the league. And by the time he's 20, he's on all-star games. And this is a funny story. So this lets you know how I can evaluate talent. He's like 20, 21, somewhere in there. He's got like 8 home runs at the all-star break. You can all look up the stats. That's the year it was. And I say to him, he'd already been to an all-star game, I think, or he got voted in. And he's like, man, I don't know if I deserve to go to the all-star game. We're in Toronto. I'll never forget it. He and I talking. And I go, Junior, you got 8 home runs. You had 20, I think, last year. You're halfway already to 20. I mean, really, 8 is 10. You're halfway there. You're never going to be a guy like Strawberry that hits 40. That ain't going to happen. You're not, So yeah, you're fine. You're on pace. Yes, you go to the All-Star game. You got Candy Bar, the most popular player in the sport. I think he hit 20 the second half of the season.
That's amazing. Yeah, he wound up with 27 that year. He had 19. I
mean,
that's
unbelievable. He was really a special talent. And here's the funny thing. I'm getting ready. The All-Star game's in Seattle in 2023. So they sent me this history of the Mariners, and so I'm going through it, and these guys are bagging on how bad the Mariners were all these years, and then it talked about how, I think it was 89, I got thrown out like 29 times. Right. Now, we had Jim Lefevre be the manager, and he liked to hit and run. Yeah. Well, he had Griffey hitting second. So I'm running on a hit and run. I get thrown out like every time I run, to the point I was like, Jim, I got to just straight steal. He's not going to put the ball in play. He's too young, you know? That's my excuse for 29. But
That's great.
my point is, Griffey was a guy that they had hit and run, they had steal a bag. And when he came into his own, he came into his own. And I think what really helped was his dad showed up, played with us.
Yes.
They competed. His dad threw BP to him every day. He only had one hitting coach. That was his dad.
Yeah.
Even when Gene Kleins was our hitting coach, he'd call Gene and say, how's the kid do? Well, here's what he's probably doing. And he'd tell him over the phone what Junior needed to work on. Nobody messed with Ken. He hit extra. He loved to take BP. He did all that. And he just took off. A lot of it's work ethic.
Yeah.
He'd sit around, he'd come in ballpark, he'd hit early, and then we'd stretch at like 4 o'clock, and he'd walk around. He wouldn't stretch. He wanted to make people think he just showed up and he just did his thing, right?
Right.
He'd be there since 1 o'clock, already take BP, and he'd walk around. And we go, Junior, you got to stretch, man. Does a cheetah stretch before it hunts?
That's a great line.
My final Griffey story, and we can move on. So I don't remember what year it is. Woody Woodward's our GM. We can't get Junior to stretch, and we have an earring rule. This is how archaic baseball was. Can't wear an earring, right?
Yeah.
Pull your socks up. Can't wear an earring.
Unbelievable.
So wouldn't take his earring off. Got his hat backwards, got an earring on. He's way ahead of us marketing and branding things. So they called me and Alvin Davis into a meeting with Junior. So we go in the meeting with Junior. It's Woody, me, Alvin, and Ken's mom, Birdie, shows up in the meeting. And they think Birdie's going to make him get this right. So they bring the heavy in there to get this conversation. So Woody's like, we can't get him to take his earring off. And, we have team rules, and he's making other guys, upset about it. And it's just not good. He's one of the star players, and you can't get the best guys on board. It's hard to get anybody else. And Birdie looks at him, looks around the room and goes, he don't act like that at home. You created this monster. You deal with it. And she walked out.
I love Birdie. I love Birdie. It's awesome.
And Junior sits there with this grin like, and from that moment on, he was untouchable, and he knew it.
Wow.
That's great.
Wow.
That was it.
That's unbelievable. I always wondered when he went the hat backwards, you're like, for all the guys, the old school guys, I'm like, never turn your hat backwards in the big leagues, right? You never did. Like when he was doing that, did you just know no one was ever going to say anything to him? Because that was a big deal for baseball. Even to this day, when Junior turned his hat back around, I was like, hey, let's have fun. Be like the kid. You know what I mean? Be like Junior.
Yeah, no. And if somebody would have just asked him why, and being one of the team captains, I had to ask him, why are you wearing your hat backwards? He goes, well, when I was a kid with the Reds, I tried to put my dad's hat on and spin around, so I just turned it backwards and it stayed on my head. He always wore his hat backwards.
Wow.
He didn't know he was doing anything or setting a trend or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so once you get the explanation, you go, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah.
But that was him. The biggest thing I think Junior did was he forwarded our game into a new millennium.
Yes, I agree.
He made it cool to be young, and youngsters can be that. You can have some style to yourself. It kind of changed the thinking of the old guard in a sense. Wear your socks this way, and you can't talk to a player on the other side. And Junior kind of tore down all those barriers. Mm-hmm. He was so popular, Case, that when we traveled, he used to have his bats in a locked up back bag because guys at the airport would steal it.
Wow.
We'd land some places and he'd have no bats because the equipment guys would steal it. The cargo bin would go and they'd steal the Ken Griffey Jr. bats.
Man.
He had to lock his jersey and his bats in a separate container and ship them separately. Yeah. I mean, I hadn't seen anything like that till I played with Cal Ripken in Baltimore. Right. Cal would stay at a separate hotel. And I tried to go to a movie with Cal one time in Baltimore. He's like, it doesn't work, Harold. We went late to the movie and we left early because he couldn't stay around.
Wow.
There's just certain guys like that. Same type of stardom with Derek Jeter. It's just unique, transcending. And in our sport, that doesn't happen as much as maybe basketball and football are happening now. But that's really what baseball was about back in the day.
I remember when Junior came to Cincinnati in 2000, it changed everything. I mean, I'd never seen anything like it, like almost like a prisoner of his own fame. I mean, he was the Michael Jordan of baseball. And I remember we would be in New York playing the Mets, and we were all going to lunch one day. It was like bees to honey, man. It was unbelievable. And I was almost scared for him. Like, bro, you all right? You need me to get in there and start? And he'd be like, I'll sign after lunch or whatever. Like, let me just go to lunch. Let me just be a human being. You know what I mean? But you're right. It's a different level with Cal Ripken, Derek Jeter, Ken Griffey Jr. Staying on Cal real quick, you got traded to the Orioles and obviously you got a chance to, you play with some of the greatest players of all time. What was it like playing with Cal? What was so special about him?
I think Cal, obviously his knowledge, but you play 2,000 some games in a row, you figure out how to have fun.
Right.
And that's what Cal did. He figured out how to have fun in every situation. Like we would sit there and like open mouth, closed mouth, who's covering? You're covering on a steal or I'm covering on a steal. He'd say, I'm calling every one of them. I get it wrong. Then you get to call and I'll give you $500. Never happened.
Wow.
It never
really?
happened. It never happened.
Oh, man.
He got every call right.
Wow.
They'd have a hit and run on, hit it right to me. They may have a right-handed batter up and Cal's supposed to cover. He would stay home and the ball would be hit to him. I don't know how he did it, but he did it every time. And I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. This guy's going to hit it right where I'm going to be standing, supposedly, and I'll be covering because Cal switched the coverage on him.
Right.
And they hit it to Cal.
Wow.
And it was unbelievable. My favorite story with Cal, two of them, he'd call his own hit and runs. And so we had a sign at third base with the third base coach, but I would hit in front of Cal. So I had to have a sign to look at Cal, and Cal's sign would supersede whatever the third base coach called. So if Cal put a hit and run on, I got to run. So we had one game. We're at home in Baltimore, and the home dugout is on the first base side. So I'm on first base. Cecil Fielder's playing first. And I'm on first base, and I get a lead. They give me the don't go. And the simple sign back then was if Chinch covered up his Yankee emblem, that meant don't run. It was that simple. They may go 1,000 signs. They go there, it means don't run. So don't run. They gave me the red light. Well, I get the red light, covered up the Oriole bird, and I step out and I look up and Cal puts hit and run on. Cal used to step out of the batter's box. He'd grab some dirt and he'd go up the barrel of his bat and click his heels and get back in the hit. That was his hit and run.
Wow.
Cool. So I'm like, okay, he put the hit and run on. They give me the don't run. I got to go.
All right.
So I take off. Cal fouls it off.
Boy.
And I'm coming back. And now Johnny Oates is basically sprinting down to the other end of the dugout to yell at me at first base. It's the easiest sign we have. It's the easiest sign we have. Screaming at me. How can you miss that? All right. Pitch goes by. Cecil's like, bet you ain't going nowhere now. Pitch goes by. Cal puts hit and run on again. I take off. Base hit to right. I'm at third. I can see Oates pacing, ready to just kill me when I come in. And I don't care if it executed. I went against his wishes. So Harold Baines hits a sac fly. I score. I come in. And Johnny meets me at the top step and takes me down the runway. What are you doing? It's the easiest sign. This is it. This is it. This is it. And he's screaming at me. And I take it. And finally I go, Cal put on the hit and run. And he goes, oh. He just kind of walked off.
That was
it.
Wow.
That was it.
That is
So
sick.
I don't know how much time we have. This is my other favorite Cal story.
Okay.
We have battled back. We're 4 games out. And we're playing the Toronto Blue Jays. Joe Carter's walk-off world champion Blue Jays. Well, in 93, you have to win your division to be in the playoffs. There's no wild card. You got to win it to get in. So we're 4 back. It's early August. And we got the Blue Jays at our home park, for 4 games. So we had a pitching coach named Dick Bosman. And every time he came out to the mound, he'd always go, "Ooh, tough situation here, bub. Got to use all your pitches." And he'd go back. Well, it's August. By now, Cal's like, enough already. You know? And so Cal would be at short, and I could hear him all season. Catcher would put a sign down, and I could hear Cal short, "No!" He's calling pitches along with the game. Got a guy set up for a curveball. Guy calls a fastball. I'd hear Cal like, "No!"
Oh, wow.
Screaming at shortstop. All right? And remember, 2,000 games. You're playing games. Finally, Ben McDonald, bases loaded, first game of the 4-game set. Dick comes out. Tough situation. Make sure you use all your pitches here. Get out of it. He goes back, and I hear this loud whistle. Turn around, and Cal's still at the mound. So Chris Hoyles, the catcher, comes back. I go to the mound. He goes, "I'm calling all the pitches. This is a fastball. This is a curveball. I hit my leg. It's a split." He goes back. I'm at second, looking at Cal. Catcher's in squat, looking at Cal. He called the rest of the game.
Wow.
And he did it basically the rest of the season. Certain situations, he would take over and call the pitches.
Oh, my God.
And so the next year, I'm playing with the Angels, and I strike out in Anaheim. In the inning, throw my helmet, throw my bat. Cal jogs by. Who do you think called that pitch?
Oh, man. That is so cool. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I think when you look, even talking to Billy, you know, working with him at the network and just their minds with their dad, how they looked at the game, I always felt like was a little different. And Cal, to do that now, no one could get away with calling the pitches for the pitcher and have that much respect that the catcher would be like, "Yeah, you call the game. You call the game."
Case, there'd be situations in the game, late in the game, I'd be walking to the plate, and Cal turn around and he'd go like this. He'd tell me drop a bunt. Like, move the runner. I'm feeling good. You know?
That's amazing. Amazing.
You got me and Bainesy. Move him over. Let's go. Get it done.
God, it's so great. That's so great, man. H, so you end up into your career. You're with the Orioles. You retire here and after, and then you've been one of the best analysts in the game for 26 years. I remember that. Matter of fact, for me, that's how I got to MLB Network in 2008 when we were you were with TBS. And it was Game 5. We're in Fenway, and you came down for BP. I get down hitting my group, and I come out. "Hey, H, how you doing?" I knew I was retiring, and I'm like, "How's everything going, man? Good to see you." And you're like, "Yeah, it's good. You know, you're always so great to me." And I'm like, "Hey, how do you like being an analyst? You know?" And you're like, "Oh, I love it, man. It's great. You know." And you're all enthusiastic. He goes, and you're like, "Why?" And I'm like, "'Cause I'm going to retire when this is over." And you were like, "No way, you're going to retire." And that's when you were like, "Let's get in touch with Tony Bettini." And you're really the reason I'm at MLB Network for 14 years was, I called Tony Bettini next, couple months later after the season was over, I was hired. But I just remember what you told me that day, like, "Hey man, like it's an unbelievable career. I think people recognize me more now as being an analyst, than they did when I was playing." Can you just take us through like just becoming a great analyst and loving that whole industry, and obviously being at the network for 14 years, what has this second career meant for you?
Well, it's been everything. I love it. And I think it's a culmination of everything in my life, from watching film in high school to, playing. I had really 2 rules. One, never forget how hard the game is to play.
Yep.
Because the further you get removed, the easier it looks.
Right.
And then secondly, I'm not going to ruin friendships over a simple comment. I'm not going to bury somebody and lose their friendship because I'm going to be cool about myself. Those are my 2 rules. But, in the beginning of it, I went to ESPN first, and I had Chris Berman did my second show there. And really, it set the tone for everything that TV would ever mean and be to me. And my first show was like, I try to be all perfect. Great play. Way to go. That guy is really fast. Enunciate, be as clear as possible. My second show, I'm with Chris Berman. And Chinch knows this. He worked with Berman.
Yep.
Berman's a mess.
Yep.
He is who he is. He is so far from everything they would teach in a school to be.
Yep.
I mean, the highlights over here, and he's got his back to it. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And he'll get back in time for the next play. That's Chris Berman. So we are 30 seconds from air, my second show. And he goes, hey, that show yesterday, terrible. Terrible. He goes, look, it's me, you, and the boys in the bar. You see that thing right there? Talk to the boys in the bar. You've been doing this your whole life. Just be you. Hey, everybody, welcome. And the next thing you know, he's off and flying with the highlight. And Mo Vaughn, I'll never forget, Mo Vaughn struck out or something, bases loaded. He's like, Mo! That isn't so! And he's spinning around, and I'm looking at this guy like, you gotta be kidding me. Am I right, Chin?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's like a tornado doing a show. And brilliant. Brilliant
He
at it.
is so
too.
into what he's doing. He's all over the place. But that was the biggest lesson for me, was be yourself. I can't be Chris Berman. I can't be anybody else. I got to be me.
Right.
And so that really helped shape who I tried to become. And I watch a ton of sports television. I love it. But I pick and choose what guys say, what they're doing, how they might deliver it, how they might dress, what they might be saying. And how would I incorporate that? How would I do that? I like that breakdown. How did he do that? Oh, okay. I watch the NFL Network all the time. I think they got some of the coolest breakdowns. So I try to grab some of that and be able to make it clear to people at home. So those are some of the staples, I think, of why I try to be on the air and try to be the best I can.
Well, I just want to say, bro, you helped me so much. And I think that was one of the biggest things when I first came. I remember we were doing a demo and I was just so nervous. And you're like, hey, man, you're talking hitting. Just talk hitting like we be talking hitting here. I'm like, really? And I think in my ear, they're like, we're back in 10. I'm like, are you serious? You're like, yeah, just be you and let's talk hitting. But I think one thing about you, H, and for all the people that don't know, like in our production meetings and stuff like that, you're such a seeker. You're always learning. And I think that's something for me and all the guys that are at the network. Like we look at you as kind of the leader, like, hey man, if this guy's still learning and learning how to be better and learning new techniques, like we kind of all are. So, for me, I just want to say thanks, dude, because you don't even know how much you've helped me in my TV career. I'm looking forward to many more years doing it, man. It's been a ton of fun.
No, I appreciate it. Case, you're awesome. But to anybody out there who's a former player, I was always told, I've been doing this since I was 5 years old. You've been playing baseball since you're 5. Right. How many baseball clinics have you done? How often do you had conversations with people about the sport?
Right.
Now you just have a camera on. That's all.
Yep.
Same thing.
Yeah.
And that's the delivery.
Yeah.
The camera won't lie. You're either comfortable or you're not. There's a lot of people,
That's
one of
a
the best
point.
producers you'll ever know, right? I mean, there's a lot of folks, he can turn the camera on and go, they ain't got a shot.
That's true. That's true.
No matter how good they are.
It's really true.
They got no shot because they're not comfortable.
Right.
But the other thing you can do is you can turn the camera on and go, man, that person, they draw you in. We can teach them how to deliver.
Right.
There has to be an it factor that makes people want to watch you. And that's the separator.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. We got 2 things that we end the show with. We got a little segment called Who Owns You and Who Did You Own?
Ooh. Okay. All right.
I got the
Who
numbers
owns
here.
me?
Yeah, who owns you?
Dave Stewart. I could not hit Dave Stewart for nothing.
How about?
I mean,
you were 9 for 68 in 76 plate appearances.
and I didn't strike out much. He punched me out a lot.
7 times. Yeah.
He would throw that high fastball, and then he'd throw that. They say it's a palm ball now. I thought it was a split. And I had no chance.
Wow.
I had no chance. I was swinging first pitch. I was like, he throws first pitch heater, starting the game off. I'm hitting him. And didn't happen. The guy I owned, in a sense, was Mark Gubicza.
Yep.
Wow, dude. Wow. He was nasty.
22 for 48.
Wow.
What is that?
22 for 48 against Gubicza.
Wow.
You know why? I took it personal. Scott Bankhead came over on a trade from Kansas City, and he was like, yeah, Gooby and Coney think you can't hit at all. And I was like, oh, really? Okay. And every time it was like World Series, I'm grinding this dude. I'm going to get it. And it may not even been true, but I took it personal.
It's good.
I love it. It worked. Whatever you did, it worked. It flipped something in that brain of yours. All right, the last thing we do, H, is a segment called 9 and 90. Chinch is gonna throw us 9 questions. I'll start, and then you follow me.
You ready for this?
Okay.
I was gonna say something too, but I don't want to get too emotional with you because you know how much I love you. So, but keep it there. All right.
Hall of Fame baseball broadcaster Marty Brennaman here. It's time for 9 in 90, the most ridiculous segment in all of sports.
Now, fun part. As soon as Casey answers, then you answer the same question. Right, Alvin? Ready? Okay.
Right.
At a cookout, Sean, do you go potato salad or mac salad? You can only
I'm a mac salad guy because I like to take the baked beans and put them in the macaroni salad, mix it up real nice.
Nice. What about
I
you,
like
Rich?
that, but potato salad. You can't be the good potato salad.
Right.
I'm potato salad.
I'm with you. Now, this one's going to get controversial, I think. Game of Thrones or Sons of Anarchy?
Oh, bro, it's underrated. People need to watch it more. Sons of Anarchy. I love Game of Thrones, but Sons of Anarchy was the best series for me.
Game of Thrones, man. I could not. As soon as I saw the trailer, I was all in.
That's good. Hey, have you seen Sons of Anarchy?
No.
Okay, exactly. Go watch it. It's only 7 seasons, H. Let me know what you think.
All right. I'll watch that.
This next one's a tough one, too. You can only listen to music from one of these 2 artists for the rest of your life, and you got to throw away the music of the other guy. Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh, man. Well, I'm gonna party like it's 1999, guys. And I think Prince. I'm gonna go with Prince.
All right, Harold.
Well, we are exact opposites, man. I'm grabbing Michael Jackson. I'm gonna cry while I'm singing. I'm gonna dance while I'm singing. There's gonna be a lot of emotions if it's the rest of my life.
And little known fact at home for you people too. Harold has a beautiful singing voice, and every once in a while, when you're working with him, you hear. I'm like, oh my God, Michael Jackson! And Harold sings exactly like him when he wants to. So I put that.
Hey,
in.
side note, real quick.
Yeah.
So when I got to the big leagues case and Chinch, we flew commercial flights.
Right.
Oh my
We leave from Seattle on a red eye and be walking through the airport in Chicago.
Yeah.
Saw the Jacksons.
Wow.
You name it, everybody. Met Michael way back, walking through the airport. Hey, Michael, you guys a baseball team?
So good. So great.
That's so great.
All right, next one. Case, you're taking the kids out. We going bowling, we going to mini golf, or we're going to like Dave and Buster's?
You know what? We're going mini golf, bro. Mini golf, and I'm dominating the kids and talking smack. That's what's happening.
We're on the same page there. I go mini golf, but the kids are going to want to go to Dave and Buster's. But I'm going mini golf with them.
Dave and Buster's, you put those cards in, you wind up walking out of there spending like $450. They get you.
Yeah, they got it going.
Yeah. Okay, this is a true or false question. You guys, I'll let you know who's right or wrong when you answer this. You cannot smell or sneeze while you're sleeping.
I'm gonna say that's true.
Okay.
For some reason, I think it's true because I don't sneeze when I sleep.
That's false. I think you can sneeze and wake up.
The answer is it's true. You cannot. You can't. So Casey was right. Harold's wrong.
Can't sneeze, huh?
Yeah. I guess.
Have you ever sneezed, H, in your life?
But the worst one is you can't smell. Because I've been on some buses where dudes woke me up and asked me to smell.
I'm gonna have to look into that. It's a good point. Okay. This is one kind of just.
I've a couple of times woke up in my own Dutch ovens before. Like you rip one under the covers and you're like, oh man, that just woke me up. I don't know what happened.
All right, here's a good one for both of you guys. Right now, Sean, you go to Wendy's. Give us your order.
I'm getting a double with cheese. Okay. Well, obviously there's cheese on there. Double with cheese and fries, and give me a little small frosty on the side. Real nice.
Harold, you're a professional at this.
I'm gonna go. It's a number 10. It's the Asiano bacon. It's like a chicken bacon sandwich.
The crispy chicken.
Number 10. Oh my God.
We were talking right before we came on, and I said, I got some funny food questions. And before you came on, Harold, just talked about an anomaly that Harold is. Every given moment of the day, he'll either have a bag of Funyuns in his hand, a Wendy's double whopper, and he still looks like Billy D. Williams in his prime. He's shredded. It's unbelievable.
You guys be disappointed now. I had to cut that out.
Oh, did you?
6 months or so.
Man. All right. Ready? Northeast weather. Living up here now. What is the worst part about it? Snow in the winter, humidity in the summer, allergies in the spring, or cleaning up the leaves in the fall?
I'd have to say snow in the winter.
All right.
I agree with you. Snow in the winter. That stuff gets old.
Yeah, it's nice when it first comes. You're like, oh, look how beautiful. And then you're like, all right, this is ridiculous driving down my driveway.
Yeah. All right, last one. This is more of an athlete thing. In your lives, I don't know the answer to this. We're going to find it out together. Who has had more surgeries, Sean Casey or Harold Reynolds?
I'm going to say I have, because I've had foot surgery, knee surgery, shoulder surgery twice, orbital fracture surgery, and there's another surgery I'm probably forgetting. So I don't know if H just looks, I only know he's had hip surgery because I saw him walk for the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only surgery I ever had in my life.
Wow, that's it?
Was hip surgery. And now, proud to say, I'm moving good. I'm running. Good. I'm feeling good. Case, when you get back up here, you'll see me moving.
Dude, I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I know. Watching you run for the first few, man, this guy still flies. And then when you got the hip surgery, I'm like, man, we gotta get that hip fixed. We need Harold to still run around.
Yeah, that's so true. All right, well, dude, we did.
Hey, H, before we go though, I just want to. I have one more question I have to ask you because it's too good not to. Anytime you could talk about Bo Jackson, you got to bring it up. And you were one of the fastest guys in the big leagues. We talked about the stolen base title. And Bo Jackson made a play I think is one of the greatest defensive plays of all time. Can you take us back to that play when Bo Jackson got that ball in left field?
Yeah, I'll take you back and tell you even more of it. When Bo first gets to the big leagues, George Brett is telling us, stay out and watch batting practice. Never seen anything like this. We're like, okay. He is hitting balls to the moon in BP. You've never seen before in Kansas City, under drink, whatnot. So he'd hit homer against the White Sox a week earlier, and then we're in town, and both Georgia told us to watch BP. That weekend series, hits a ground ball at third, beats it out. Ground ball to short, beats it out. These are back-to-back ABs, right? So ground ball to second, bang, bang. So then after the game, we're like, oh man, this is just a football player that can fly. Yeah. Bring the infield in a couple steps and just challenge him with heaters. Mike Moore is pitching before he gets traded to Oakland. And Bo hits one. Remember the grass in left field?
Yeah.
All the way to the top of the grass. And then there was a fence on the top. It lands over the fence. And if you ever see the video, Mike Moore is laughing. Ball so far. So fast forward, the next season we go to Seattle, and he's now ran over Bosworth, and he's done all this other amazing stuff, right? Yeah. So I've gotten to know Bo, and we're playing in in Seattle, and it's extra innings. Scott Bradley, left-handed hitter. I'm stealing on the play. It's hit into the left field corner. So the ball's in front of me. So as I'm running, I'm thinking, game over. Because Bo is kind of playing Scott in left center field. Right. And he has to go back towards the corner to get the ball. So he starts running that way. And I'm looking at Bo run, and I'm measuring how it's going to be close. Well, as I come around third, the next hitter is Darnell Coles, and Darnell's telling me to slide. I am totally confused because I've seen the play in front of me. Right. There's no way a relay is getting me. What's he talking about? Right. So as I start to slide, I'm thinking, okay, I'll give it a courtesy slide. And Bob Boone tags me. I thought he was deking, like a fake tag. Right. And I almost got up and was like, Bush League, And he holds the ball to the ump. And I'm like, what happened? So for years, I really had not known. And over the years, I've talked to Bo and I've talked to Bob Boone. Bob Boone was walking to the visitors' dugout on the first base side and saw the ball in the air and came back. All right. Man. The ball bounced up to Bo and he caught it and pivoted and threw without a stride and threw it all the way in the air. Right. So as we're going out for that game would have been over. We're going out for the top of the 12th or whatever it is, 11th or whatever. And Bo's jogging by and he goes, and he puts his hand in his holster. Oh, all right. Now that's the one everybody talks about. But I want to tell you a feat that happened that nobody saw because it was batting practice. So Bo used to be all over me after that. We bonded over that play. They're in in Seattle, another time. He's taking batting practice. He's out early hitting. And he's like, Reynolds, switch hitter? He takes a swing. Switch hitter? Always ragging on me. So now I'm by the cage and I'm watching Bo hitting missiles. And he goes, switch hitter. And he switches over to the left side of the plate. Now, I played in Seattle for 10 years. They had 5 decks in the Kingdom. I saw maybe 5 balls go up there. Batting practice and games combined in 10 years. That's thousands of balls. All right? He flips over. Boom!
Oh, my God.
Come on. No way.
Left-handed, hits it into the 5th deck and says, switch hitter. And all I can say is, Bo knows.
That's a great.
Bo knows switch hitting.
Had I not seen it myself, I would have never believed it.
Unbelievable. Crazy.
Did they just take that one swing?
One swing.
Oh,
he took that
my
one swing.
God. Oh,
they walked
my
out of the cage. That was it.
Oh, my God. What a story, dude. That's unbelievable.
I mean,
wow.
He was amazing, amazing athlete.
Wow,
the
man.
night that he ran over Bosworth and he ran past Kenny Easley and all that, I was on the field at the Kingdom watching that.
Oh, wow.
He was amazing. Yeah. So if you go back, you YouTube clippers, go back and Google Bo Jackson, Rick Dempsey.
Okay.
And Bo's at second and Rick Dempsey's a catcher and he wipes him out. I mean, violent. And after that, he'd be on first base, and every time I'd tell him, Bo, this is not football. It's not football. I was scared to death. 2 guys, him and Kirk Gibson, scared me more than anybody. Wow, I thought they would kill you at second.
Oh, my God, dude.
What a story.
Oh, man. This has been unbelievable. We literally could be here. There's so many things I left on the table. We could probably be here for 5 hours, man. But I just want to tell you, thanks so much. You're probably right. The Black Forrest Gump. You
can title this segment that.
Oh, my God.
I didn't even talk about Michael Jordan. I gave him batting gloves one year.
Did you? Tell us that. Tell us that really quick. Give us the Jordan story. Come on, one more. Give us Jordan.
So Michael Jordan is the king of basketball. And we are now hitting in the Kingdom in the off season. And when he came to town, they didn't play at Key Arena. They played in the Kingdom. They have 60-some thousand at their games. So they come for a shoot around in the morning, and I'm finishing my BP, and here comes Michael, and he's standing there watching us take some swings. I give him a pair of my batting gloves. Woo. And we start talking and whatnot, and he's telling me how he played baseball and what, all this stuff. So fast forward, he ends up playing baseball years later.
Right.
So I'm with him. We're at Derek Jeter's golf tournament, and we're in the golf cart. I'm like, I'll ride with Michael. I'm riding with Michael. This is like, I don't know, 1995 or something like that. No, it's later than that. It's like 2000. All right, it's like 2000. I'm riding with Michael, and now we're friends through the years. And I said, hey man, how'd you get how'd you get to North Carolina? And he goes, I was going to North Carolina State as a baseball scholarship.
What?
He starts telling me this whole story. He had agreed to go to North Carolina State to play baseball. And we all know the story. He got cut in basketball sophomore year in high school. Yeah. He said that coach trained him the whole winter, even though he'd been cut, and he grew like 5 inches. Right. So his junior year, he gets invited to the McDonald's All-American, which is in the Catskills. It was the All-American guys. Yeah. Right. So it's Patrick Ewing. Yeah. It's James Worthy. It's all that group of guys. Right. And Michael's just invited. He's not even one of the main guys. He goes up there, tears it up. So they ask him, can you stay another week? And his dad had driven up to pick him up and said, no, he's got a job and he's already got a baseball off.
Wow.
And so they're like, we guarantee you he can go to any school in the country if he stays one more week. So he stays and plays. That following week, his dad let him play. He's the MVP of the camp, and he starts to blossom. And now he's heading to his senior year in high school. And his dad says, well, there was only one coach who actually called you when we reached out and nobody knew you, and that was Dean Smith, North Carolina. Why don't you go visit him? Oh. So he let Michael go on one recruiting trip. He went to North Carolina that weekend. They had Sam Perkins, James Worthy, Michael, and Patrick Ewing all went on the same recruiting trip.
Holy God.
Right? And this is when you used to be able to play basketball pickup games.
Right.
And he said every time he dunked on Patrick Ewing, he broke the code with the guys. He went to Georgetown. And every time in the NBA, at All-Star game, whatever, every time he dunked, he'd yell at Ewing, you should have been a Tar Heel.
That's awesome.
Oh my God, what a story.
That is a great
How great
one.
is
I
that?
never heard
But that's
that
how
one.
Michael went and visited Dean Smith because his dad said, let's honor and we'll go visit this guy.
Wow.
But he was all set to go play baseball in college. He was not going to play basketball.
Wow.
Changed
God,
the world.
that's
The
crazy.
entire
That
world is
summer
different.
changed his whole projection.
Wow. Amazing,
Great
man.
age.
Amazing. What a great story to end it on. That's awesome.
Should have had
dude.
me on Last Dance. I'd have told the story right.
Get Harold on the Last Dance. He knows more about Jordan than Jordan does. Oh, man.
Harold,
H,
thanks so much. Thanks so much for coming on, bro.
Yeah,
we love you, man.
My pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, brother. And we'll see you soon up in Secaucus. And have a good one, brother. Thank you so much, H.
Yeah,
love you,
forward
man.
to seeing you.
Okay, bro.
Chinch, love you guys.
Love you, buddy.
We'll see you soon.
Love you too, man. Thank you, brother. Dude, how awesome is that, man?
So great.
I mean, how awesome that the stories that he has, all the things that, Harold's done. He knows everybody.
He really
knows
does.
everybody.
He
It's
really
not
does.
even funny, man.
Well,
It's crazy.
But no, not only does he know everybody celebrity-wise, if you walk in his town that he lives in New Jersey, he knows everybody's name behind the deli counters. He knows the lady that does his dry cleaning. Sometimes he'll call you and he'll be, hold on. Hey, man, oh no, how's the kids, whatever. And I'm like, hey, where are you? And he's like, oh, I'm just getting a sandwich. And he's talking to them, or like, he is as much of a mayor as you are. He's just very much up there in the mayoral type personality, and he deserves it because he talked about the 3 greatest people, nicest people he's ever met in his life. On my top 5 list, he might be number 1. One of the nicest,
He is, dude.
humans.
He is. It's so cool. Well, I think it's like my dad always said, like, people like to be recognized, and the sweetest sound of anyone's, to anyone is their name. And I think Harold Reynolds epitomizes that. He recognizes everybody, treats, even at the network, he knows everybody, everybody's name, everybody, from the camera guys, the high soup, everybody. Yep. What a wonderful dude, but man, I feel like that could have been. We got to do Harold Reynolds part 2 at some point because
he just getting started.
There's more.
Scratch the surface.
No, dude, there's 7 more hours in there.
Totally. All right.
Great stuff, man.
Stuff.
All right, Chinch, I love you, brother. Great episode. Everybody out there, subscribe, download us, do all your stuff on wherever you find your podcast. Review us if you can, because it helps us out a lot. If you're liking what we're doing, let us know about it. And Chinchy, stay grateful, man. I love you. I'll see you next week.
See you, brother.
See you, brother.
Chinch, support this week for the mayor's office is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0, baby. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code THEMAYOR at manscaped.com. I tell you what, though, I love these things, Chinch. I've had them. I've had Manscaped 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and this is the 4.0. This one has a new sleek design. It's perfect for guys like me, though, dude. I'm one of the hairiest guys going.
That's a fact.
And that's the fact. And forever, man, forever, I've been looking for the best trimmers. Even going way back years when I was playing, I'd always nick myself up, cut myself as the worst. These trimmers right here, man, they are the best. They are the absolute best. Trims up my back, trims up my arm, the jewels, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
But this trimmer is the absolute best. The 4.0, the lawnmower from Manscaped.
I can vouch for that. I know Sean wears a sweater 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and he needs this. He sent me one. I'm so psyched. I shave with it. That's how good it is. That's how
yeah,
tight it
and Chinch, I've tried every one you can try. Every clipper you could possibly buy, I've tried.
Yeah.
This by far is the best.
Yeah, Sean puts a clipper on his. It'll break the clippers, but not the Manscaped.
Yeah.
So here's what you gotta do.
Everyone should have this, bro. Everyone should have one of these.
They absolutely should. So here's how you get it, okay? You get 20% off and free shipping with the code the Mayor, right, Sean? The Mayor?
Yes.
At manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping, manscaped.com, and use the code the Mayor. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped, and you can look as clean as Casey does now. When he doesn't use a Manscaper, it's like Sasquatch. There's people call cops. Unbelievable.
Lawnmower 4.0. Go get it. It's unbelievable, Chinch.
Do it.